For me, it's peak week. For you, it is post-show recap. The reason I say that is because I'm very self-aware. I know I'm going to forget to record parts of peak week, and I'm going to be so busy traveling to and doing the show, I'm not going to be able to record everything that happens at the show. That's why I wanted to combine videos. We're going to go over the peak week protocol. Whatever I remember to record during peak week, I'll throw in there as well. And then whatever I can get from the show, I'll put that in here as well. Starting off with protocol. Starting off with Saturday, steps are getting lowered from 15K down to 12K. We're going to drink 1 gallon of salted water. I have LMNT, great hydration supplement. Throw that in the gallon. Then we're going to do 80 ounces of unsalted plain water. 3 diet sodas. Again, everything's tracked, everything's mapped out. In terms of food, we are gonna just have the standard medium day meals. It's about 2,600 calories and 200 grams of carbs. In terms of training, regular back day. Not everything is gonna be super intense or to failure. I'm really just going to catch a pump and to kind of deplete my glycogen. A little higher reps, a little lower rest time. For Sunday, the consumption protocol is the same. Salted gallon, 80 ounces, 3 diet soda. The only difference is that instead of the 12 ounces pre-workout, because it is going to be a rest day, I factored in my Ghost energy drink. In terms of food, it's going to be a slight adjustment, 2,500 calories, a little bit dropped of carbs. And Monday will be the last day of glycogen depletion. 12K steps, same exact hydration and fluid intake as Saturday, except we are hitting legs, and that will really be the true glycogen depletion. Tuesday is where we get to the fun stuff. This is where we are going to start carb loading. Steps will be reduced from 12 to now 10K steps. 1 gallon of salted water and 80 ounces of unsalted water will stay intact. The big change will be for food. We are going to start with a 450 gram carb day. I've done a few trials with these carbs, and I know that 400 to 450 is where I can carb up without spilling over. So that will be the baseline, and then depending on how I look, how I feel, how the weight is affected on Wednesday, we will adjust from there. But the goal is still to have a high carb day. It'll still probably be around that 400 mark. Might go up, might go down. I'll let you know on Wednesday. In terms of fluid, we are cutting the 80 ounces of unsalted water and the diet soda. So at this point, total fluid will just be the 1 gallon of salted water and the 12 ounces of fluid pre-workout. For my carb up days, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm just gonna do chest back. Again, nothing too crazy. Going, catching a pump, that is it. Here's where it gets a little hectic. The show is in Florida, I live in New York, so I have to factor in travel, flights, the airport, food. This part will stress me out more than anything else. This is also pretty far in the future, so this is where I'm a little bit less accurate in my plan just because I don't know how I'm going to respond to some of these changes. On Thursday, steps, I'm gonna aim for 10K. I am going to the airport in the evening, so I gotta do all those steps in the morning, and I'm sure I'll get some at the airport. Fluid is going to be dropped from that gallon plus the pre-workout fluids to just 80 ounces of fluid. That is it. An old school approach was you cut sodium for peak week. We now know that that's silly. A hydrated muscle is a full muscle and you need sodium for the pump. So I am going to put the LMNT supplement in that 80 ounces. I'm going to try to get all of my food in before my flight. It's a night flight, so if I go to bed hungry, it's not the end of the world. I'll figure that out. Because Friday, we wake up in Florida 1 day out from the show. Fluids are going to be 64 ounces, just a half gallon. I will try to get some sort of salt and electrolytes in that if possible. I'm not really worrying about steps too much at this point. I'm going to be active. I have my TAN and my polygraph, drug test, all that stuff on Friday. I'm going to be doing so much running around. My steps will get hit. They're also not the most important thing 1 day out from the show. What is important is cutting fluids by 5 p.m. At this point, I should be peeing quite frequently, trying to flush out all that water trapped under the skin. Again, sodium has been high for peak week, and that is so that muscle water retention is high and water under the skin retention is low. In terms of Saturday show day, I did no water for my last show, and it wasn't terrible because I got on stage at like noon. This time, I'm not hopping on stage until like 3, 4, 5 p.m. Again, I did my research. I'm gonna bring a 16-ounce water bottle and sip on it throughout the day, trying to keep it to a minimum. Again, depending on how flat or full I am. Ideally, I'm gonna do 3 meals throughout the day. They're gonna just be chicken, rice, and olive oil. I'll go to like a supermarket down there. I'll get the pre-cooked chicken. I'll do what I gotta do. And then backstage will be rice cakes and honey every 30 minutes, about 2 hours leading into actually getting on stage. And right before pumping up, I'm gonna have some sour candy. Wow, that was a lot of talking. Let's just get into the peak week montage of whatever I remembered to record this week. Ended up not recording too much. It was really cold in New York this morning, so I had my hoodie on longer than expected. By the time I took it off, I really only recorded 2 of my back movements and 1 of my bicep movements. We did my lat bias row and my underhand lat bias pull downs. And for biceps, just recorded my cable curls. I did the whole routine, don't get me wrong. I was just very lazy with my recording today. Hopefully, Monday's leg day will be much better. Before we get to Monday's leg day, today is Sunday, so we're going to do our physique update and weigh-in. The weight was 152.2. Because I'm in the water loading stage of prep, I'm not really counting any new lows because I got to see how my water weight responds. But what I can check is my physique. I'm not gonna lie, this was the worst, and by worst I mean most painful leg day I have ever done. Whenever I train, I try to keep my reps between 6 and 12, and I rest for like 3 minutes. But to like fully deplete glycogen and doing 15 to 20 reps with 1.5 minutes of rest, the burn was just unreal. The split was exactly the same. I just adjusted the rest and the reps, and man, this was awful. I do not know how Tom Platz did this full time back in the day. On the bright side, it is now a high carb day. We are carbing up. Tuesday was chest and the first day of carb loading. I'm just going to do a review after I've eaten all my meals, just because one, this is the first time I've had a good amount of food in 5 months. I am not worrying about the camera. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to enjoy it. 2, I'm also adjusting my carbs based off my response, based off how I look. For now, just enjoy some training clips from my push day, which felt amazing. I had about 200 grams of me at this point in the day. And man, it made a huge difference. The posing room was super crowded, so I wasn't going to do my usual recordings. There was like 4 or 5 people in there, and I wasn't going to take up too much space. What I will say is that the difference was 100% noticeable right off rip. Maybe tomorrow I will record the meals itself, but let's do a food recap. Finally, remembered to go over my carb loading strategy. So what I did is I took my phone and I just quickly recorded all my meals because I know that if I tried to get my camera out and record every single meal, it was not getting done. So it was a 2-day heavy carb load on Tuesday and Wednesday. We had 500 grams of carbs on Tuesday, 550 grams of carbs on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, it's going down to 350 because I'm flying. Friday is going to be very TBD. If I look flat, higher. If I look spilled over, that'll be a cleanup day. But here were the meals. Starting off with my cream of rice meal, 150 grams of cream of rice, 45 grams of whey protein, 10 grams of peanut butter. Meal 2 was 140 grams of steak, 500 grams of potatoes, and 30 grams of dates. Meal 3 was 140 grams of chicken, 400 grams of rice, and 10 grams of pistachio. Meal 4 is 140 grams of lean steak, 450 grams of potato, and 15 grams of dates. Last meal of the day was 2 eggs, 200 grams of egg whites, 50 grams of kale, and 180 grams of sourdough bread, which was the highlight of my day. As of right now, it is Wednesday night. Tomorrow I leave for Florida. I'm getting on my flight. So we'll see what I remember to record out of that. It is Friday morning. It's like 7 o'clock. I just woke up. But we're here. It's Friday morning. I have to get my tan at 3 p.m. and check in for the show at noon. The lighting here is actually pretty good. So we're going to do a little pre-show day check-in update. We got our tan, we checked in. All we have left is the show in 3 hours. So let's do a tan check-in before we head backstage. It is actually a couple days post-show. I've been just soaking up everything that's happened this weekend. I figured I'd sit down and I'd give you a little bit of a recap of how the show went. You know, it went pretty good. Not only did I place very well, I ended up winning the novice for my height class and placing 4th in the overall. Everyone backstage was super nice. I met a bunch of great people, got all their Instagrams, connected with everyone. It was great. And even though I did not win the overall for the novice, winning my height class felt great. Getting my little solo stage photos was a nice little ego boost. But it was so sick to be called back out during finals and to do a pose down where it's just me and the other class winner going heads up. My 2 clients that were doing the show with me also did phenomenal. My bikini debut client walked away with 4 trophies, and my male debut client walked away with 2 trophies. So Team AMG took home 8 medals and trophies for this show. Post-show eats went very hard. We did a steakhouse and then some cookies after. Then the next day, I spent most of it flying. So one of the airports had Five Guys, so I did have a burger for breakfast. Got some cookies and candies and chips to snack on during the airport wait. Landed, had an entire chicken bacon ranch pizza, and then ripped the Cheesecake Factory. Stage photos have not dropped yet, but I do have some very low quality photos I will attach to this. But man, am I excited to reverse properly this time, get into a good off season, put on some tissue. Because I won the novice, I can no longer do it. Which means going forward, it is open or nothing. So the next time I step on stage will probably be in 2 to 3 years from now and an actual pro card attempt. I will make a reverse diet / off season video. So for now, let's look at some really poor quality videos from the show.